Hey everybody, welcome back to Ready Steady Play, where we've just finished playing Lords of Hellas, as you can see. And now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, Ollie won in case.
Glory to Achilles! Temple victory. 4 victory conditions. Ollie got the temples. Control 5 temples.
Yeah. Yes. Out of all the times I've played this, that's been the winning victory condition.
Well, every time?
Yeah, every time.
No, we played with Sam, and he won by monsters.
I keep thinking
and you just think you won that by temples. You needed one more turn.
I had one turn to
win by temples, and he won the turn before you did on monsters.
That's true.
I have to admit, I was laughing that none of us were doing the quests. Because at one point I was thinking of doing one and I didn't have the leadership to do it.
Oh, yeah, they were.
And by the time I did,
they weren't very good. Yeah,
no. I mean, I'm curious as to what the top 3 artifacts would have been in that game. Because
when should we have added more quests?
When we draw them,
they come out of the event deck if you draw them. Yeah.
Use use to protect 1 or 2 hoplites from being killed. Use during a hunt or a battle. This guy never come back to draw the same number. Not great, actually.
Not game changing.
No, it wouldn't have changed.
And I never got to use my Owl of Athena, and I'm sad because I like him. He's so adorable.
That's because she clearly favoured me.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, I had Athena's gift and everything.
I controlled her
I really
temple.
should have remembered more often.
Has anyone ever won a monument victory ever in the history of this game?
I don't know. I played it once before, and I keep thinking I won that game. So I'm not good for memory.
I played this once before, and I'm damn well going to save this to my favourites because that was unexpected. I mean, I had a plan.
My plan was to lie low down here while you two duked it out, and then just come in with a sweeping army and conquer
everything. Starting here meant that Ollie got the power. He was uncontested until he won the game.
Yes.
So I mean that was
that was me going into your back territory.
Definitely a power
backyard.
Well, but I think that's sort of the main, because going into this game I wasn't sure how I felt about it, because when I played before with Ben in that game we were just talking about, and I lost pretty horribly. And it actually, the first curve of the game, for me, actually, this time, went practically exactly the same way. What happened was I started out doing monster stuff and quest stuff with my hero. I had them usurped. In the previous example, it was actually a quest where a hero came in to a later step and just, my hero was stuck there doing nothing. And then my army was also destroyed. And I was pretty much left with nothing. And there's no good catch mechanic.
No, there is no.
So it's really, really difficult to come back. And in this game, it was only because of the glory of Zeus that I was able to get any more presence on the board, really. If it wasn't for this, I would have 2 hoplites instead of 6.
Yeah.
Not that it really helped. By that point, the game was basically over.
Yeah. This helped me massively as an early game thing, but it didn't actually...
This I didn't use once. However, I think that stopped you guys from attacking me more than once because you were aware of what I could bring into it.
I was never in a position to attack you.
Yeah.
I was planning on it. I mean, eventually.
This heroic presence with Achilles' ability is amazing because it's an instant. You're at least 3, adding at least 3, and if you've invested in strength, it's 4 because he starts with 2 speed. So it's at least 3, regardless of what he's doing.
So what do we think about the game in general?
Well, I enjoyed this playthrough a lot more than the last time. The last time we had 4 players, though, so the board was a lot more crowded.
It was so slow. I mean, it was it took 5 hours.
I don't know why we spent... I think we were having a bit of AP.
Yeah.
It was a long...
Yeah. We spent a long time. I spent a very long time doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because in this game as well, I didn't really have a lot going on, but the game was half the time of the previous one. But I definitely had, after I sort of came over here to kill the Minotaur, I basically didn't have anything going on. I
was really surprised that you didn't at any point prepare and heal yourself.
Well, I was going to. I just never really had the opportunity to.
Well, it takes up, it's like the least good action. It's like the fix action. It's like...
Yeah, but it's considering his whole thing was, I'm going to be hunting monsters. I mean, he made it pretty clear that's what he wanted to do for a victory condition from the start.
Well, I wasn't committed to that. It's just I had an advantage to it. Yeah. And I thought I might be able to leverage some early game strength from it, and it turned out to be a bad idea again. I feel like actually the game has, on multiple occasions, punished me for doing one of the 2 hero actions early on. That's quest and monster. By telegraphing that, I've essentially allowed people to usurp me and steal the rewards both times.
Yeah. I mean, less so with the quest, but more so with the monster. Because with the quest, I mean, it doesn't sort of...
But there's something about that quest, because the quest rewards are arbitrary. Not arbitrary, sorry. What I mean is, they come out at random times and they may or may not have more relevance on the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like the crest reward in the previous game was actually quite important to some victory condition that was going on the board.
Yeah.
It was like move guys around or something, I can't remember.
I mean, I was a bit surprised that we had... I mean, as I said, we didn't even attempt them, but it's partly because they weren't that great.
Yeah.
And partly because they didn't... none of us had the plan to do it.
Yeah.
From the get-go, my plan here was, those guys are there. As long as I keep this area defended really heavily, I have freedom here. And my original plan was to move here.
So we think as a sort of 3-player game, it doesn't work that great.
Is that right?
Because it definitely was in Ollie's favour.
I think the big thing was because the blue territory doesn't count for Warlord, people ignore it. And that gives the green area a massive advantage because there's only one direct entry. I mean, you've got the full border here, and even here,
that's true.
That's 2 areas you can directly access. This is one.
The green areas, yeah. So starting the green area is pretty powerful.
Big bonus.
But I thought with 4 players, it was so long. And people were really getting stuck up on their turns and trying to calculate everything.
I think that's because we had 3 people who had never played it before.
That's possibly true.
Including one person that doesn't really to play these games.
And the game is very unforgiving as well. So
there's like you said, there's no catch-up mechanic, but to be honest, I think this took us with filming 2.5 hours, which is record breaking.
Yeah,
that's
honestly
absolutely that was a complete. We didn't even speed run it, and it was fast, which was good. Yeah. That's a definite thumbs up. It's sad, like you say, that there's no catch-up mechanic, but if there was a catch-up mechanic, don't you think we'd still be playing? It'd still be a longer game, and it'll be a lot more back and forth. I think I want to say that there's purposely no catch-up mechanic
because they want the game to not last
forever. Yeah. But I think there are really subtle catch-up mechanics, like for example, not being able to recruit into these or when you move in, not being able to go straight into these, or might be a weird catch-up mechanic, or when you retreat as well, being able to retreat into your own regions, and that could be seen as a catch-up mechanic. You never know how much balancing they went through for the combat. I don't think the combat's broken. I like that it's quick, but it is unforgiving. I mean, if you have no combat cards, Ollie can be right, yeah, I win until I prepare.
in all honesty, though, that was exactly how I set myself up from the start to be able to just do that.
Yeah, it was
it was nice that worked because as combos go, that's an accessible one if you've never played before. Just going, I've got a hero that wants to be on the board, so if I go on a quest, I lose quite a lot, and then I go, and I also had heroic presence. I was never going on a quest. Once I had those 2, I was never going on a quest. And I ideally wouldn't even be fighting monsters unless they're in a territory I need to control. I ignored the Sphinx all game because her ability was kill a hoplite. Great, I'll move my guys out of there.
My whole plan I was basically playing Pandemic because I had this green coming in and I was surround it with yellow and then usurp it. That was the plan. I did that with Mike up here.
In all honesty, if that had gone off, I didn't think you could do it. I would have left one more guy there just so when you tried to go in there, I was the defender. I assumed that I would always be a defender and just be able to use this.
Fair. I think I definitely think you just straight out won that, and that's sad. But I think it's because it was 3 players, yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you went and sort of took over all my territories at the start.
Yeah, but that cost me so much time and actions.
But you decided to deploy in the middle of us, which also meant that you would choose.
I went here because I get the glory token to take Oracle of Delphi.
I'm wondering if we can make a correlation between you coming up here to steal my monster kill and then Ollie being unchecked and coming in here.
I almost agree. I was thinking, if I hadn't gone and stolen your monster kill, I might have been able to have won.
Be in that position
because I was always one action behind what I needed to win. And that's probably because I did the hunt for this monster and the prepare for this monster, you know what I mean? But if I hadn't... But that's the thing. If you had taken this...
You'd be 2/3 of the way to winning.
And you would have had this, the glory token, which is what I needed to basically take you out of the area completely. So, in a way, I kind of needed to do that.
I mean, I was a bit surprised with glory tokens because I didn't think they were going to be that useful at the start. But especially for usurping areas you just can't get.
If you were there and I surrounded you and I usurped you, that's your whole army dead.
Yeah.
That would have been so brutal.
Yeah. Although the sad thing is that would have been one recruit action and I've got them all back.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Spread out units in this game kind of mean nothing. They actually mean very little.
All they do is if you think you're going to kill your opponent, it cuts off their retreat. That's all it's for.
Yeah, true.
And if you've got high enough leadership,
Well, you don't even need units to do that. You just need control.
no. But we both invested heavily in leadership so we could move our guys around, and the idea for that was I can get them where I need them to be, and then one march action does it, or I move all of them into a territory and don't need to do the march.
There was a blessing, I don't think we had it in this game, which was like when you march, you can move from 2 regions into 1.
Yeah.
Which would have just been amazing.
Yeah, no, that would have
The
been
region, but the blessings,
terrifying.
it is known, are basically critical. Like they can be so important. Like this one, game defining. Mine were not great, and it's maybe I didn't get a correlation. Like I didn't. The problem I think was that I didn't really commit to a strategy, and then I didn't find the powers I needed to support that strategy.
Yeah.
But I feel like also I was kind of put on the back foot right at the start, so I was trying to struggle to come back into the game. And at that point, it's like I'm looking for the strategy that I can just kind of do.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you lose control of your sort of your strategy and your goal like that, I think the game is just really difficult to come back into.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it a lot more this game.
It's a fun game. It's a very thinky game.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge, with big games like this, I kind of like to relax and just have decisions made by dice, if you know what I mean. You know
What am I doing? Damn you, dice.
Kind of, but I'm like, okay, I move in, it might work, but it's worth the risk. Let's roll dice and see. Rather than, right, I have to now calculate it. But I mean, some people love that. I mean,
Ironically, that appealed to me.
But I think lack of random is a very good game to. I think in this game, the only random is cards and that monster dice, which is great. I think that's really fun. I'm talking like from a personal perspective.
And it's funny because when in a lot of games where there's combat against another player and combat with an NPC, the combat's usually very, very different. Whereas this is exactly the same. It's you have cards, you flip them. Either you can do damage or you can't.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that with the monsters, if you don't have the right symbol, there are still ways to do damage because it's a way of getting that last wound off.
It's a great mini game. Like I would love to just play this and just run around hunting monsters.
Single player.
Yeah, I played the single player. Actually, it's okay. I have played it. I played it 3 times.
Because you could do the Battle of Thermopylae.
Yeah. It's a cool fight. It's okay. It's more fun playing with people, but it's got a solo mode.
But that's the thing. Like I don't tend to play games like this, and in my mind, these are Risk-like games.
Yeah.
Because I hate Risk with a passion. Because the only time I ever played it, it was a 3-person game, and the other 2 people out loud went, "Should we take Ollie out of the game?" And so in 3 turns, I was off the board.
All right.
And I've played games like that, and it always happens with 3 players, and I was really hoping it wouldn't happen in this.
Yeah.
Because if you've got 2 people essentially dedicated to screwing you over, the game is not fun.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be completely.
But that's who you play with, like.
Oh yeah,
that's who you play with.
Yeah.
The last time I played Risk, the random deployment and objective cards meant that my girlfriend won on her first turn.
How the hell did that happen?
Yeah, it must be really unlikely, but
I didn't even know it could happen.
Yeah, you just you get the mission to control 2 continents, and then you deploy all your forces in those continents.
So,
I mean, you don't get to choose where your forces are deployed, but it's random.
What do we think about the sort of appeal, like the sort of aesthetics of the game?
Really minis.
The aesthetic has been quite polarizing because some people were like, "Oh, why is it not just ancient Greece?" And other people were like, "I like the ancient Greece techno theme because it gives it something different." And there's lots of historical games, but there's not cyber.
Yeah,
ancients games.
My only that's it. Oh,
No,
that's
her.
her.
That's her other one.
Oh, I thought that was Hermes' spear.
No.
Ah, okay.
No, Hermes doesn't have a spear.
Hermes just runs.
He just has his trainers.
But who was it? There was I was listening to the Secret Cabal, and one of them was saying, "Oh, I played the whole game. I didn't even notice that they were cyberpunk."
Yeah,
That was the first thing I noticed.
It's not cyberpunk though.
Not cyberpunk.
It's
sorry,
just sci-fi. It's
cyber.
just sci-fi. It's literally space, ancient Greece, space Greece.
Space.
So, yeah, I mean, my issue... I mean, I love it. I kind of got this game based on that whole theme, but I was a bit disappointed that, like, none of the mechanics actually imply... Like, you could have this as an ancient Greece game, and no one would bat an eyelid. Like, it would be exactly
I think
the same.
it probably was.
Yeah,
and then they were like, let's add robots.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a bad decision. I like that.
I mean, let's face it. What's not made better by adding robots?
But yeah,
Revolution.
So
that's about it.
So I was a bit disappointed with that. But you never know. Like the expansions and stuff might have some new bits.
Struggling.
Well, it's So these models as well, they were very difficult to fit together when they came because.
Oh yeah, they're a little bit tricky, but they're okay.
I don't know. Hermes fit together really easily.
I like that they've actually textured the bits where they connect. Not like you'd ever see them. I don't know if you can get the characters. It's actually got like texture.
Fine, like granite, like sort of lines on the connector bits.
It's nice. It's not necessary, but it's cool. So
to be fair, most things with modelling are not necessary, but they are cool.
I also with component quality, I checked out the manufacturers that the Awakened Realms used who make great minis. Like that's why they're really good minis. But I was saying to these guys earlier, the sort of artwork is really nice, but the print quality is a little like the cards and stuff look great, but all the cardboard, like all anything that isn't like thick card looks amazing. But like I just felt like the board seems a bit faded. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe
this is probably because we've got it under camera lights. On camera that it looks less faded.
But I mean, yeah, just you can sort of see the sort of lines of the cardboard. Very, I don't know. When I looked at the board for the first time, I thought, why does this not look as awesome as the rest of the game? But yeah, it's a small gripe, but it's not a big deal. No,
and it's a lot of it is about how you like the artwork of something like this, which is an amazing amount of artwork and models. That's part of the appeal. But I mean, we didn't get very many of the quest cards or the monster ones. I didn't actually, because we kept discarding them because you guys killed both of the monsters that kept coming up about. Barring the Sphinx. Thanks for that, guys.
I think the next one would have been a quest, yeah. Saving Prometheus.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that's one of the parts of the games because the events are random. So, but you can't win with quests anyway.
No, which is sad because I
was really surprised.
I thought it would be cool because quests are maybe quests are the catch-up mechanic. Maybe they're the thing that, like, if you're not winning, you can just go do quests.
But I don't know. The reason I didn't do any of this game is that they take so long. Like, three turns
to do.
Is an enormous amount of time. I mean, how many turns did we even play in this game?
Yeah, and you basically...
It's probably like 9, maybe?
How many episodes? About 1 per episode? Yeah, about 9. But if you look, like, if you go on a quest... You're basically taking out 3 of your main actions for 3 rounds.
Yeah, because you can't usurp. You can't hunt.
When you can't prepare.
And you can't prepare. Well, you can prepare. You just can't heal.
Recruit. Oh, no, you can recruit. You can. It just takes out 2.
No, you can't recruit because it's in a region with your hero.
You count as this region.
Oh, you count as the region you're in for the quest.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could also draw a combat card.
But then you can't change the region you recruit into.
Yeah.
If that's important to you. But even so, you still can't usurp or hunt.
No.
You know,
I mean, this is the thing, like...
The thing is, but it also makes you very predictable because you can't hasten the speed of the quest. Yeah. So people know where your hero is and know they're stuck there for 3 turns.
Well, the only way to hasten it is to meet more than the basic requirements, which just locks you out of it until you've prayed a couple of times.
Yeah, that's true.
Or similar. I mean, this is the thing. The first one having, you must have an available priest... I think that locked us out of it for a long time because...
Yeah, well, I could have gone on it almost straight away, but...
but not
I was miles away from it.
Not having your priest in a temple or for something is quite a big decision to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that there's the choice, though. I mean, when you're recruiting... I mean, the board looks really busy, but it really comes down to cities and temples.
Yes.
So, like, you have to decide, do I want... And then there's, like, a super temple and a super city, which is Sparta. But you kind of come down to, all right, do I want... a temple to get a priest to up my hero stats, or do I want a city to recruit more units?
Or in very rare situations.
But you guys both started with cities, and I started with a temple. And I started with a temple in the last game.
No, I started with a temple. I started here.
You both started with temples. I was the only one that started with
You were here and I were here.
Right, and then you went in here.
Yeah, I immediately moved in there because I got this blessing that let me take it.
Really cool.
Recruit, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because I actually felt at the start of the game, crap, I've made the wrong choice by picking a city.
No, cities are the right choice.
Cities are almost always the right choice.
But I went for that, but partly that was because I thought, if I'm difficult to attack, I won't get wiped. And then it just evolved into this really good strategy. But when you both started praying, I thought, oh crap, those bonuses are permanent. I'm going to fall behind really quickly. And that's when I started going temple mad.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, to round off, I guess I just want to say it's a good game. I mean, it's very mechanical,
Yeah.
which can be punishing because it's like if you're not like shit, I don't have a priest, and then you've got to like you basically blocked out 2 or 3 turns to just get a priest, stuff like that. There's a bit of that, but once it's one of those games where you have to play it once, and then the next time you can kind of start enjoying it, if you know what I mean. It's one of those play once and then you get it.
Yeah. But it's also I would say it's extremely vicious.
It's pretty
and
brutal.
if you're not into that kind of sort of vicious conflict game, then it's definitely not.
Yeah, it definitely gets your heart going if you're
on the receiving end.
Yeah, or just like if you're sensitive to that kind of like game where it's like heavy strategy and like, okay, I might win, oh my god.
But it's up to the players to maintain the board balance.
Yeah.
And
that becomes Kingmaker.
That becomes Kingmakery. And even in a 4-player game, it still suffers from that. It's not like, having even numbers mitigates it somewhat. And that's, I mean, and that's sort of one of the, I think that's one of the things that sort of really sits with me about it, because you've got to learn it and then you've got to play it enough.
Yeah. And also you've got to learn that for the player amount you've got, because 2-player and 3-player and 4-player all have different rules. Slightly,
different win conditions.
But
slightly.
Those win conditions can really influence how you play.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know. I mean, in a 2-player game, the only win condition, the one changes and one is not viable. So in a 2-player game, you need to control 3 regions to win that way, and you can't win by controlling a monument, which I've never seen happen anyway. So. But I like that someone could really hasten it along just by taking that action constantly. Yeah,
that's cool, yeah.
But the problem is if you're always doing that, then you're probably not going to be in a position to defend it.
Yeah.
You say that because what you could do is you go, build a temple.
Build, recruit.
No, you like build a temple.
But then it takes you 10 turns to build that monument, and we didn't even have 10 turns in this game.
That's true. Yeah. But other people might build monuments.
Well, also, it'd be...
I seriously doubt if you're building a monument, someone's going to add to it.
No, it's more along the lines of if you've got, say, I don't know, Hermes.
They're like the timer of the game in a way.
They're the timer of the game, but it's also if there's not a quest there and there's no other reason for people to be there, they might let you get further along than they realise, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh great, all I need to do now is keep everyone here, because your hero wouldn't be bound to this spot. You could go, right, I need to get... I got to there, got a priest, praying to a temple, praying to a god every turn to up my hero stats, trying to take over some other places. So when I do recruit, and any time you recruit, you just move everyone to here, and you've got this gigantic...
But do you think it's vital to have committed to a strategy, like one strategy early on?
Oh no, I don't. I think that's probably a difficult strategy to win with, but it's possible.
You were talking about how heavy this game is in terms of strategy, because it's a bit like Risk, but you don't roll dice. I mean, what you said, like it's a territory controlled dudes on a map game.
Yeah.
There's no dice. It's mostly combat cards and army strength, and that can make it quite vicious. And it also means that you've got it's even though you don't actually make that many decisions in a round, the decisions you do make are crucially important.
Yeah.
So you're really sort of trying to math things out and work them out in your head. And if you're not into that, then this might not be the right choice for you. I think that a lot of strategy people do prefer that. Because, there's nothing worse than sort of putting together a great plan and then you get diced.
Yeah.
That's actually the main thing that annoys me with that kind of game is like, I've got this great plan, but I rolled a 3 instead of a 4 or higher, or I rolled a 1 when I could have done anything else.
Yeah. Well,
and it's frustrating.
Usually that's bad game design to have a big strategy, a game that gives you space for a big strategy, but then the outcome of it relies on the dice roll. That's bad game design.
No, I mean the thing is, I like tabletop wargaming, and that's almost entirely that kind of thing.
That's just tactical. That's different.
But there are ways of mitigating that that are built into the game, whereas a lot of board games don't have that kind of. If you fluff it, there's a way of getting around the fluff. But
well, when we played Street Masters, what was quite cool was if you rolled a miss when you were trying to hit, you get a defense token.
Yes,
for later, which is quite, which is
I mean that's a good mechanic.
Sort of
you screwed
out,
up, but you now have this in case it.
So it's like a participation prize for being diced.
Basically. Yeah.
But
did the random number god not like you today? Have a defense token because you're gonna need it.
Yeah, but sometimes you want the defense token.
Yeah.
So it's quite cool. Anyway,
because all I wanted to sort of get back around to is that I think you've got to have the sort of the right gaming group to be into this.
Yeah.
and it's because of its vicious nature and its very thinky, strategic nature. I think there's probably going to be people who are maybe a bit blasé about it. I'm quite happy to play. I'd actually be quite happy to play again. I enjoyed this playthrough more than I enjoyed my last one, and I would be interested to see how it would go the next time if I could improve it, but improve my performance in the game. But one of the things that does the point I'm getting back around to is that with the terrain expansion, which is not essential, that's what gives you these plastic buildings here.
It's almost essential.
I would feel like I was being robbed if I had to go back to the paper tokens.
Yeah,
because you've got paper. Well, you don't actually have any city tokens. You just have these spaces on the map that represent the cities.
You
and
have
the
temples. Temple tokens.
They're cardboard standees. Yeah, you don't have a Spartan either.
I'd be disappointed.
But the game itself retails, I think, at about 80. You can probably find it online for a bit less.
GBP.
British pounds. 80 British pounds. And the terrain expansion, from what I've seen, is 25 British pounds, which means you're looking really for all of this stuff we're playing with today at 100 British pounds. And the question I think you would have to ask yourself is if it's something you want to invest in at that price point.
Bear in mind when Mike says vicious, he doesn't mean because usually that can mean take that kind of gameplay, and there wasn't a lot of that in this. There's not, but what you mean is just
ruthless is what I mean.
Ruthless, yeah.
Yeah, it's a ruthless game.
It's not like here's a card that just destroys you entirely.
Or just cards against each other for no reason. Yeah, there's none of that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
everything felt purposeful.
I thought, Mike, you were actually going to screw me up here and just be like, "Well, I'm losing, so fuck you."
No, well,
I thought he was going to do that to me.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the things about this kind of game as well, because actually I was thinking about it, and I was thinking really hard about whether or not I wanted to be the sort of vengeful guy that just gets you because you got me earlier. The thing is, you can't. You've got to be objective about this game if you want to win it.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't go for you because I don't like you.
No, you went for me because I left an opening for you to benefit from. Yeah. And, really that's my poor strategy going into that hunt, underprepared. What I should have done was spend an extra turn drawing combat cards or something like that. But I didn't. And I wanted to nab that win early on. And I was also kind of thinking, well, if I lose, I'll get a priest out of it and then I can get the rest of it. What I didn't realize was that Perseus could teleport across the map like that.
Which I wouldn't have done unless I got the Zeus thing, which I didn't know was there, to be fair.
Yeah. So it was, but I mean, if you're playing with people that have played before, then that will happen. And it has happened in every game of this that we've played.
Yeah.
Which is two.
Which is two times.
But not really enough to be statistically analysed.
Yeah, no. I think this is the game where, if you're playing a game with a lot of people that have played it before a lot of times, it's going to be a very interesting experience. I think it's going to be a lot more, and it'll be probably just as quick. I think the more you play this, it's quicker, so you'll want to play it more.
You will end up developing a strategy you like to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think ultimately it's going to come. The game is always going to have that Inish style table talk where it's like, well, if you don't do that, then he's going to win over here, or we need to do that.
That's Kingmaker. That's ever since Chaos in the Old World.
But it's not Kingmaker. Kingmaker is I could go here and then Ollie would win, or I could go here and then Ben would win.
But that kind of gameplay usually falls down to Kingmaker.
Yeah.
It can often result in Kingmaker.
I did think at one point that Mike was going to do that to me because this territory was very poorly defended and he was building a force there, and I was like, that's my weakest temple.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of had two strategies in mind, which was to send Heracles over here to kill more monsters or kill the Medusa or whatever, if I can heal
There wouldn't have been enough time to get
there was just not enough time. No. There's just not enough time. So I was thinking, my my other line of thinking was maybe I can fortify down here and finish this monument.
Oh, yeah. That I was going to do that. That was my first strategy, actually, to just go for the Athena statue because it's not contested region.
I did actually. I've just looked at Hermes' artifact. It's essentially to do what your character trait is.
Oh, teleport.
Yeah.
You just exhaust it to go to any region on the map.
Oh, but that doesn't even count as movement.
No.
Oh my god, I should have had that the whole game.
Should you have?
Yes, because I was in control of the monument the whole game.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god, so I totally could have usurped that land.
That one?
Yeah, I'd done that and then done this to move there and then do the usurp action.
Well, during
Oh
that time,
my
I
God.
could have done an advanced dodge, and that time,
I had
Ollie
priests.
could have gone
Okay,
as
but
priest.
that's pretty insane. Like, oh my God.
Well, it does say put them under the statues. Why does it say to do that?
I don't know. Okay, in my head, that's going to be another win.
No. I would have.
I like how in your head you've won Lords of Hellas twice, and in reality you've never
No
won
way.
it.
Oh my God! That's frustrated me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think it is a good game, but it's definitely a game where you have to think long and hard about your group and the kinds of games you're into playing.
Yeah, actually, just fucking won.
I feel bad for revealing that now because I was just curious as to what it did.
I feel so bad. I'm gonna go home and cry myself to sleep.
Yay!
Anyway, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it
I
anymore.
don't want to talk about this anymore. I just wanted to say one last thing, which was the comment you brought up actually earlier. I'm not sure if it was on camera, but how the theme definitely was. I mean, well, we don't know if it started out as an ancient Greece game and then they added cyber stuff. But what we were saying was that whether the way the game plays, it could really have had any theme. I mean, obviously with the quests and the monsters,
Thematic
you'd need something with a sort of a theological or fantasy or supernatural theme.
It could just as easily have been Norse mythology as Greek.
Yeah, or Eastern mythology, or
Shinto.
Any of that stuff. So, it could have been Harry Potter.
Snape. Severus Snape.
So that was something that you weren't super stoked about, was it? That it didn't feel thematic, like you were doing things that fit in.
Yeah, I mean the cards and stuff, like the artifacts, do give a nice, and the obviously the monsters and the hunting aspect is very thematic. But I guess a lot of the combat it's just kind of number based. There's no and then we do this strategy which is okay. But I think this is why I think it really appeals to those kind of more of a heavy strategy style of gamer rather than I'm quite a thematic gamer. I like games that feel like it's an experience. Like when we played this War of Mine, also by Awakened Realms, great game. That really felt like we were doing what the game was about.
Yeah,
and this is a bit more like.
Now, I mean, I actually can't think of two games that sort of play into their themes in completely the opposite ways.
What?
Well, what I mean is, this War of Mine is essentially all theme, whereas the mechanics are just kind of there to enact that, whereas this is the opposite, really, the polar opposite.
Cool. Well, yeah,
but
it's a good game, though.
Yeah, I'd play again.
I'm in my head. I've won that. I can't get over that. Should have gotten that.
Ben, you can't keep giving yourself a pass for human error.
Okay, fine. The last one, the last game, fine. I didn't win that. I was one turn behind. That game, I wasn't given the card I should have had.
By yourself.
Because you didn't take it.
I didn't know it was there.
What do you mean? We've been doing it with the other two cards all game. By the way, the game does say put them under the statue. They were there the last time we did this as well.
I know, but I just, I only saw the Zeus card because it was actually sticking out.
Why are they like that?
I don't know.
Does it say that in the rules, or did I just copy that when you set up the other game?
I don't know.
Who knows? Anyway, I did it deliberately to trick Ben to create this situation. It was all part of my plan.
In all fairness, if you'd have had that and been using it, I'd have not abandoned a place entirely.
True, you would have picked that up turns before Ollie.
Yeah,
you would have known you would have.
But if I had, but that's the thing. When I was here and I was like, right, how do I get another movement? I was looking at the board. I was looking for something that would help me. Yeah. If at that time I had found that card, then I could have won.
The thing is though, I was crushing you with way more people than I needed, just because I was just moving everyone along. I would have just left people.
What was the value of your card that you had in your hand?
It was
it a 2?
2.
It was a 2.
But if I had more hoplites, it counts as 2 to my army strength.
So it's 4.
So if you had left 2 in there, I could have moved him in, killed 1, and then moved.
Well, no, because I'd have still been there, and then I would have used responsive force, and then moved my army guys in there and kicked the crap out of you, and then gained a priest.
Okay, fine.
So. And I think that's a sort of a testament to how thinky the game is, because we missed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot
throughout the whole game. I was like, oh, I forgot I had that.
Yeah.
But these are cool. The blessings are cool, but you've got to keep on top of them. They're so important to the strategy.
I do like though that it's very easy to combo them.
All right. Well, I think that's
We
it.
spoke for ages.
Yeah, we've talked for ages about Lords of Hellas. There we go. So I hope that's given you enough information to sort of make up your own mind about whether or not this is a game for you and your group. And if you've come with us on our playthrough, I hope you've sort of seen how the game works, and that's also helped inform your decision making. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you tomorrow for a completely different adventure.
See you later.
Thanks for watching.
Is that a catchphrase? Is that a catchphrase?
I mean, I guess it could be. Okay. I don't really have a catchphrase.
I guess they are adventures.
They are adventures.
Bye.